Nigeria will not rise from the ashes of failure until we look ourselves in the eye and start taking the blame collectively for our failures. A nation in denial. While it's a notorious universal concept that the essence of government is the security and welfare of the people, and it is government responsibility to provide social amenities, cum good governance to her people, how much of that concept do the rest of us understand when we queue up to vote incompetent people into political office, or in most cases abstain from voting during election, thereby allowing their popular candidates to win? In every profession in the world, education and training is a prerequisite, including even roadside mechanic. But in leadership in Nigeria, we settle for just anybody without asking questions, yet we require magic in governance. So for once, let's blame ourselves for the failures. We'd create excuses to abstain from our civic duties by claiming that votes don't count. If votes don't count, politicians would campaign or beg you for vote in exchange for Eldorado during an election. Except, of course, you'll be Supreme Court governor and not call anybody name more. It is easy to point accusing fingers at others but ourselves. But believe me, we all contributed to the rot called Nigeria. Nobody destroyed Nigeria but you and I. The day it benefits you and your person, then, na God. Otherwise, it is not good enough. If it must be better, we must use the same standard and measures we use for others for ourselves. Otherwise, this house will fall on us all, including those cutting down the legs now through banditry, kidnapping, ransom, killing, burning of police stations, etc. I hope we understand and should let our people know also that it is the Igbo politician in collaboration with some of their traditional institutions in that region that underdevelop and are still destroying Igbo land when they put money made for public funds in their pockets. The average Yoruba man should be aware that it's the Yoruba politicians and their allies, whom they celebrate every day, that have consistently made life unbearable for Yorubas in their land despite the abundance. The Hausas, Fulanis, the Kanuris, the Jukums, the Beram, Tiv, Idoma, Igede, Igala, Igbira people, etc. should understand that it's not the man from Anegbete or Rerope, but their governors and representatives whom they either voted for or abstained from voting for that have consistently made development a mirage for them, even with their numbers and natural resources. I hope the Ijaws, the Robos, Calabarese, Benis, Ishan, Afemai, Ika, Ikwere, and others in South-South can see clearly that it is nobody but their politicians and leaders, both religious and traditional, that are eating what's meant for everybody in the midst of plenty. So blame them and not others. Those destroying and burning down pipelines in South-South are our brothers and sisters. Hope they know that those destructions is a further destruction of our environments. The ones that claim to be unknown and setting ablaze police stations in the Southeast are our relatives. What do we tell them? Others kidnapping villagers and innocent school children, killing in the name of religion, and setting villages on fire in the north, lives amongst us as relatives. Apart from asking for amnesty and ransom for them, have we ever bothered to ask them to stop? And when they are arrested, do we insist that they be punished for their crimes? I leave you to be the answer to answer that question. That traditional ruler dishing out chieftaincy title to undeserving people because of money will look for who to blame but himself. The pastor and priest who sees Sunday sermons as opportunities to further fleece his gullible congregant is also blaming somebody somewhere for the rot that he represents. God loves a cheerful giver after all. Yet they buy private jets in the midst of hunger. The Islamic cleric who is negotiating with bandits and terrorists and those who are silent in the face of the killing simply because the killer shares a faith with them is also a problem and not a solution. Make him also look himself in the mirror and change. Those lawmakers who sees every budget passage as opportunity to pad and make money are our parents, relatives, and village people. What do we tell them when we meet with them in private? Do we say, give me my share, or bros, sis, represent the people well? I leave you to your conscience. You parents that refuse to imbibe morals in your kids, those young boys destroying rail tracks, students cheating in exam hall, you contractor who over-invoice price, and yet do a shoddy job. And those of you that destroy public properties, claiming there's a protest. You trader that increase price unreasonably because there are no checks. You landlord increasing your rent arbitrarily. You security personnel, police, army, navy, air force, and even private security outfit, killing defenseless people and not behaving contrary to your oath of office. You lawyer defending political thief even when you know the truth. And the judge collecting money to pervert justice. The medical doctor selling public drugs in his private hospital. The civil servant who is nothing but evil servant. You pickpocket using civil society and NGO to enrich your personal pocket and all defending, defrauding, or suspending people of their money and valuable. The list is endless. Just add your own. Are all parts of the larger problem of Nigeria. We are all not different from the people governing us, as our leaders and rulers are drawn from amongst us. And that's why it is said that those waiting to steal in government are more than those already stealing. I will therefore advocate that we all must see that our actions or inaction is what is collectively destroying this country and not just that of the politicians. We do not need a sovereign national conference or dialogue to heal the land and tell ourselves the truth. What we need is a personal dialogue with ourselves, our conscience, and our maker. We can then elevate the discussion to local government, state level, and before we get to the national level, we would have all become the change ambassador that we so desire through our individual reorientation in our interaction with our people every day. For if our leadership problem were a national one, then they ought not to have been seen or replicated at the various state and local government level. It is indeed a personal problem, and the sooner we blame ourselves and start addressing them from within ourselves, the better. Otherwise, we can divide this country structurally, but the problem will still follow us to wherever we go. I blame myself, and from today, we make conscious effort to change and do it differently. What about you?